Oh my gosh, what an episode. What is up, guys? This is Sean Matthew here reviewing X-Men 97 Episode 7, Bright Eyes. Now, I didn't give a review on the earlier episodes. I gotta say, this show is better than I thought it would be. A lot of people thought it was gonna be woke. They thought it was gonna be like Disneyfied. No, it wasn't. It was straight up incredible. Now, talking about episode 7 specifically, I thought this episode was really good, just like the other episodes. Now, I know there are a lot of criticisms asking, like, why didn't they do this episode last week? I think the writers decided, like, we needed that break from all that trauma that happened a few weeks ago. Now, despite that 1 week break between what happened in episode 5 and episode 7, this episode starts real heavy.
And when I say it starts off real heavy, it starts off real heavy. I mean, it literally starts off with Remy's funeral. That is sad right there. They already got me feeling a type of way over this episode. And obviously, no one is feeling more worse than Rogue right now. She is literally going on a rampage looking for US government bases, looking for Henry Gyrick. So quite literally, Rogue is going rogue right now. Now we cut back to Cyclops seeing he's talking to the president, and he doesn't appreciate how he's not helping him publicly. And of course, he's feeling sad over losing Madeline Pryor, the mother of his child. Now, Jean is doing his best to comfort him, and I know she's still feeling a type of way, especially he was with Madeline this whole time. And I gotta say, this is real mature of Jean Grey, because I know a lot of people crapped on her a few weeks ago for kissing Logan. Now, right after this, they went to Genosha, and I didn't think they were gonna do that so soon, but they did. And I gotta say, you really feel the devastation once you enter Genosha. I mean, just look at this imagery right here. It is really dreadful. Now, it's not quite the level of Invincible, but nonetheless, it's still devastating for a children's cartoon. Now, we go visit Rogue again, and this is probably the scene that a lot of people are talking about right now. Now, when I saw Captain America's shield in this trailer, I thought this was a fake out. But it wasn't. It really was Captain America that was going to show up in the series. Now, I'm a little confused on how he's existing here right now, because last I checked, he was in a portal with the Red Skull during Spider-Man the Animated Series, so how is he there? It doesn't make any sense. But you know what? This is Marvel telling us this is not just the X-Men world. The X-Men is part of the larger Marvel world, just like the 90s cartoon showed. Now, just a little nitpick, I wish it was Wolverine with Captain America instead of Rogue, because those two actually have a history with each other. And I know others that theorized that it was going to be Cyclops talking with Captain America instead of Rogue, but here it was Rogue instead. Now, I do like the context of how these two were interacting with each other. She was looking for Henry Gyrick, and so was Captain America. Now, another thing people are going to talk about in this episode, how Captain America talks about his team. Now, a lot of people are implying it's the Avengers. I'm going to put this out there right now. I do not want to see the Avengers in this X-Men animated series. We've had the Avengers for since 2012. They've been pushed to death. Time to give them a break. Let the X-Men shine for once. So fast forward in the episode, she leaves Captain America and she ends up finding Henry Gyrick. And she was not messing around. She actually used her powers to help find who is responsible for all this. Now we cut back to Genosha with Scott and Jean. You still see Cyclops being sad about losing Madeline Pryor, the mother of his child. Now Jean did sense a telepath, so a lot of people assumed that Madeline was still alive. But they didn't find Madeline. Instead, they found Emma Frost, which I knew was going to happen. You knew they were going to tease an Emma Frost and Cyclops relationship, and I definitely kind of would see if it plays out. But Cyclops, let's just say he's not there yet. But don't worry, Cyclops. You'll get with Emma Frost. Don't worry about it. Now, Bolivar Trask actually ends up calling the X-Men, and he says that Sinister was behind all this, and he even tells them to meet up with him. Now, of course, I want to talk about Sunspot on Jubilee, because they actually went to Sunspot's parent place, and they actually revealed to them that he was actually a mutant, but the parents actually knew this whole time. Now, the mom revealed that she knew the whole time because of the accidents that happened around their childhood. It makes a lot of sense, so she knew the whole time. And then we cut back to Rogue, and here we see she's with Nightcrawler. And I'm glad they had a moment, because a lot of people forget that they are step-siblings. They then reunite with the rest of the X-Men, and here they go find Bolivar Trask. Now we check in with Henry Gyrick after she got attacked by Rogue, and here we see a mysterious figure. It turns out he was working with this person, and that individual actually betrayed him, actually killing Henry Gyrick. Now, we're going to pay attention to that a little bit later, because that is key right there. Now, the X-Men do end up meeting Bolivar Trask, and he reveals that Sinister is actually working with somebody else. And he's going through a lot of emotion because of what happened in Genosha. Now, at first, it seems like Rogue was trying to console him, actually trying to save his life. But the unthinkable actually happens in this episode. She actually threw Bolivar Trask from a falling ledge. And as you can see, he is not happy about it. I mean, the guy is shocked, and I don't blame him. It was an X-Men that actually threw him out. And look at the face on Rogue. You know what she's thinking when she did that. She was thinking justice for Remy. But in a surprise twist, he was actually alive, and a matter of fact, he actually became a living Sentinel. And I gotta say, this guy was OP. He was taking the X-Men one by one. I mean, he was just taking him out left and right. Morph even tried turning into Quicksilver, and that didn't help him at all. Like, Bolivar Trash just annihilated him. Now, people are wondering, who was the guy who was going to beat this guy? Well, who do you think it was? It was none other than Cable himself, aka Bright Eyes. Now, we all knew Cable was going to show up this episode because the episode is called Bright Eyes. And if you know your X-Men lore, he got that name for Rogue from the original cartoon. Now, the moment a lot of X-Men fans, including myself, have been waiting for was this moment right here. Scott meeting his future son. And if you saw this interaction, you could tell he likes his mom a lot more than his dad. It was crazy. But I'm so glad that Scott is going to know his son Cable. Now, right after the scene, we see Mr. Sinister, but as you can see, he is not by himself. That same individual who killed Henry Gyrick is also there as well. And just like what Bolivar Trash said, they are working together. But what's even more insane was the fact that this individual was actually spying on Charles this whole time. That is insane. So he is definitely expecting Charles Xavier to come back. But probably one of the biggest twists in this episode was the revelation that Magneto is still alive. And he's being held hostage by that same individual as well. Man, oh man, I definitely can't wait to see how episode 8 shapes up. But yeah, this was such a crazy episode right here.
But yeah, overall, I thought this episode was really good, and I definitely can't wait to see the rest of the episodes. Now, I believe Bo DeMaio said that episodes 8 through 10 are going to be the masterpiece of this season, so I definitely cannot wait to see how that shapes up. But tell me, what did you guys think of this episode? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.